Hello, my name is Mark Sherwood, and in this lesson I'm going to be talking to you about specific energy systems that you can use when you're exercising, because if you know the specific energy system that you're using, then you can expect a specific result in terms of the fitness that you're trying to achieve. So the three types of energy systems that I'm going to be talking about are, first, the aerobic system, secondly, the ATP creatine phosphate system, and third, the lactate system. And I'm going to start by talking about the aerobic system first. Well, the aerobic system is a system that works based on taking in and utilizing oxygen. So if you're exercising at a pace where you can take in oxygen and then utilize that oxygen, then you're using your aerobic system. Now, your body can actually exercise harder than your ability to utilize oxygen. So that means when you're using the aerobic system, you have to pace yourself. So if you're not doing paced exercise, you're doing the exercise or the type of exercise where you go real hard and then you have to stop or slow down, and then you start up again and you keep on doing that. Then you're using a different system besides your aerobic system. So if you're using your aerobic system, make sure you find a pace that you can sustain and maintain for a long period of time, at least 5 minutes for somebody who's starting out with exercise. And if you're in good shape, it's going to be longer than that, 10 minutes. People who are in great shape can go for an hour, 2 hours in that aerobic system. So if you want to develop endurance and the ability to sustain exercise, then you want to make sure that you're using your aerobic energy system when you're doing exercise. Now, if you kind of go in the opposite direction where you're going to push as hard as you can, and you're not really thinking about endurance, you're just thinking about bursts of energy, things like sprinting in a race, or accelerating as fast as you can, or lifting a heavy weight, or explosive jumping, then all those types of things are using the ATP creatine phosphate system. It's the system you use when you have to use all-out energy. Now, you use that system when you're fresh, when you're not tired, when you haven't developed fatigue. If you develop a lot of fatigue while you're doing that, you're going to move into another system, and that other system is called the lactate system. So the lactate system is kind of a combination of using the aerobic system because you're trying to sustain exercise, and also using the ATP creatine phosphate system because you're doing it at a very high intensity level. Now, you can't maintain exercise in the lactate system forever. But when you get to the point where you're pushing as hard as you can, and then fatigue starts, and your heart really starts beating, you're breathing hard, and you want to stop, you feel the burn in your muscles, but you just keep on going for as long as you can anyway, that is when you are using the lactate system. So if you have to at all slow down because you are going too hard, or stop because you were running too hard for too long of a time, then you know you've been using your lactate system. So when you're formulating an exercise plan or a fitness goal, then you need to think about what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to accomplish the ability to just sustain a pace for a long time? Then use your aerobic system. Are you trying to accomplish the ability to put forth a lot of effort, strength, and speed and acceleration? Then use your ATP creatine phosphate system in bursts. Don't try to sustain when you're using the ATP creatine phosphate system. Always stop before you get tired when you're using that system. But if you are in a sport or have some type of need where you have to go at a high intensity and you have to really push yourself for a long time or as long as you can at that high intensity of exercise, then you're using a lactate system and you would want to develop that system as much as possible. So what you're trying to accomplish in terms of fitness goals needs to take into account the specific energy system that you are using.